Welcome to The Awakened Heart, a podcast for healing women, a place where your voice matters, your body is sacred, and your journey home to yourself is honored no matter how winding the road. I'm Autumn Moran, licensed professional counselor, life coach, yoga instructor, and ultimately your companion on this divine, sacred path we call healing. If you live with ADHD or if you're neurodivergent in any way, you probably know the frustration of trying to follow the systems that just don't stick. And then the shame that creeps in. The why can't I just do this like everyone else? What's wrong with me? It's just simple. It's not that hard. In today's episode, I'm throwing out the one-size-fits-all productivity hacks and talking about something different. Accommodations. Not coping, not fixing, not hacking yourself, but actually setting up your life in a way that works for your brain, your hormones, and your nervous system. So first off, let me define some things, right? Accommodations. Accommodations are changes to the environment, the structure, or the expectations that allow you to function well. They're not band-aids, they're support. Strategies are tools or tips you try. Sometimes they work, sometimes they fade out. And shame cycles sound like, why can't I keep up with this? Everyone else can do it. Accommodations shift the focus from forcing yourself to supporting yourself. They are acts of self-compassion. Because here is the honest truth. Most systems are designed for neurotypical brains and often for the male hormone cycle, which resets every 24 hours. They assume a linear, predictable flow of energy. They require consistency that ADHD brains and hormone-shifting bodies often can't guarantee. And they rely on willpower instead of external scaffolding. That's why you can buy the planner, set up the color codes, maybe even get excited for a week or so, and then it fizzles. It's not because you're failing, it's because the system wasn't designed for you. For women especially, ADHD shows up differently. Emotion regulation, overwhelm, sensory sensitivity. And layered on top of that, you might be cycling through different hormone phases or navigating perimenopause, where cycles aren't as predictable. Either way, the advice to be consistent feels impossible when your body simply doesn't run on a flat line of energy. So I said a little bit about hormones, right? Because this is a piece that most productivity advice completely ignores. The follicular phase after your period, your estrogen rises, dopamine gets a little boost, and focus often feels easier. This can be a good time for new projects, creativity, or systems that require motivation. During ovulation, your energy peaks. You may feel social, sharper, more outward focused. This is often the easiest time to quote unquote perform, but it's also when masking ADHD symptoms may feel more doable, but can lead to burnout later. So don't just overmask because the energy's there. Manage the energy. Before your phase, the luteal phase, I've heard it say luteal and luteal, so I'll stick with luteal until I correct myself. Progesterone rises, which can bring more sensitivity, irritability, and of course, brain fog. Tasks that felt simple last week might feel almost impossible. So instead of blaming yourself, recognize this as a real hormonal shift. This is the time to lean into accommodations, simplify meals, cut down on social plans, and give yourself permission to rest. In the menstrual phase, energy naturally dips. Your nervous system may feel more tender. Instead of pushing, let yourself focus on restorative, gentle work where possible. For women with ADHD, these shifts can feel amplified. Hormonal fluctuations change how your brain interacts with dopamine and norepinephrine. Yes, I said it. The neurotransmitters already involved in ADHD. So the cycle can feel like a roller coaster, can be amplified. But here's the reframe. Instead of demanding consistency across all 4 weeks, design accommodations that flex with your cycle. For example, for high energy weeks, batch errands or get ahead on creative projects. During low energy weeks, prepare frozen meals, lower expectations, or shift to gentler tasks. Use cycle tracking apps or even a paper calendar to anticipate the dips so you can proactively build and support instead of blaming yourself. Because this is not about control, this is about honoring the rhythm of life, of our hormones, of who we are. So, accommodations in the real world. This is the part where I want to get specific because it's one thing to say, give yourself accommodations, but it's another to actually imagine what those can look like in your real life, at work, at home, in your relationships, and even around your body's hormone rhythms. I want you to remember, accommodations are about designing your environment, expectations, and support systems to match how your brain and body actually work, not how you wish they worked, not how your boss, your partner, or your productivity books tell you you should work. So let's break it down. Work and career accommodations. So some examples. Flexible scheduling or supportive work environments. If you can, arrange your workload so that high-focus tasks like writing, planning, or leading meetings fall earlier in your cycle. Follicular and ovulation phases. When your brain feels more scattered during luteal and menstrual phases, shift toward admin work, organization, or tasks that don't require a lot of creative energy. If working from home isn't an option, ask for in-office accommodations such as lowered lighting or the ability to wear sunglasses, relaxed uniform policy, more private workspace, the ability to wear noise-canceling headphones, bring an extra jacket or blanket for cooler temperatures, use a heater if it's not against company policy. And you can task batch. Instead of bouncing between emails, projects, and conversations all day, group similar tasks together. For example, answer all emails in a 30-minute block in the morning. Batch content creation on a single day, or dedicate certain afternoons to client follow-up. And instead of forcing yourself into strict 9 a.m. deep work blocks, notice when your brain naturally lights up. Some women with ADHD and fluctuating hormones find afternoons more focused while mornings feel heavy. Others are the opposite. Accommodate what's real, not what's idealized. If you're in a workplace where flexibility feels scary to ask for, remember that accommodations are a recognized form of accessibility. You don't have to apologize for needing what helps you thrive. This is under the ADA laws. Home and daily life accommodations. This is where a lot of women feel the most shame because keeping up with laundry, groceries, bills, and cleaning can feel relentless. The truth? ADHD brains struggle with repetitive, boring tasks, and hormone dips can make executive dysfunction worse. So examples of how to help yourself around the house. Give yourself visual reminders. Use open baskets instead of drawers. When it comes to like laundry and that's overwhelming, maybe try a basket system, a small basket for socks, underwear, shirts, pants, and then just take them out as you go if folding and hanging is not where you're at right now. Keeping sticky notes at eye level. Out of sight, out of mind is for ADHD brains, so keep notes, keep alarms. One touch rule. If something is in your hand, try to put it in its place the first time. If that's too hard, set up drop zones, like a basket by the door for mails and keys, like a basket in the living room, a basket at the bottom of the stairs, a basket by your bed. It's okay to have baskets. They can be cute and discreet. Simplify your routines. Instead of a complicated meal plan, pick 3 or 4 easy meals you know you'll eat and rotate them. Or only meal plan for 3 days at a time. In the world of grocery pickup, you can grocery shop for 3 days and then grocery shop for every 3 days and have someone put it in your trunk. You don't have to go to the grocery store every 3 days. And this is very helpful in the luteal phase when cooking feels impossible. Lean on healthy freezer meals. My suggestion is to start at the fancy end of freezer meals and find what fits in your budget there, because the fancier they are, the better ingredients they tend to have. Not that they're always better, but they tend to have better, less nefarious ingredients. Pre-cut veggies or even breakfast for dinner. And cycle sync your chores. High energy follicular or ovulation weeks are great for bigger reset tasks, like cleaning out the fridge or reorganizing a closet. Luteal weeks are perfect for cozying the home, fresh sheets, candles, soft lighting. Menstrual weeks, permission to let good enough be the standard. What about relationships, right? Relationships can feel tricky with ADHD because of forgetfulness, emotional intensity, and sensitivity to rejection. Add in hormone fluctuations like irritability or withdrawal, and it's easy to feel like you're failing others. But this is exactly where accommodations save relationships. Scripts for boundaries. Pre-plan phrases like, I need a little space before I answer that. Or can we circle back later? This takes pressure off answering in the moment. Use your phone calendar to nudge you to text a friend, plan a date, or check in with family. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're supporting your brain's natural forgetfulness. Let loved ones know, I'm more sensitive this week. It doesn't mean I don't love you. I just need softer interactions. This can be life-changing in luteal and menstrual phases. Just let people know that this week is a hard week and you can circle back. Let's do something a little easier. And instead of multitasking, give yourself permission to engage with one person at a time. This reduces overwhelm and strengthens connection. You can't fold your clothes while listening to your partner or while answering text messages. Fold your clothes, talk to your partner, get on your phone. You can't talk to your partner or your friend and respond to text messages. Get off your phone, talk to the person in real life, and then tend to your phone when they're done. 1, manners. 2, this is multitasking and it's just overwhelm and it doesn't need to be done. Slow down, be in the moment. Finances and errands accommodations. Money and errands are classic ADHD quote-unquote tax zones. The hidden cost of late fees, forgotten groceries, or impulse spending. Hormone shifts also play a role here. Impulsivity often spikes around ovulation, while decision fatigue feels heavier in the luteal phase. Excuse me. So, if you can, auto-pay your bills. Remove the risk of forgetting completely, and this reduces late fees. There is what they call a 2-account method. So 1 account for bills, 1 account for spending. When the spending account is empty, you're done. No mental math required. During the follicular weeks, batch your errands when energy is high. During luteal weeks, use delivery services or simplify with pickup. Order ahead. And around ovulation, notice if you're more prone to yes energy, yes to purchases, yes to commitments. And if so, build in a pause, such as, I'll revisit this in 24 hours. One of the most powerful accommodations you can give yourself is the gift of slowness, my dears. Instead of expecting yourself to run at the same pace every day, design routines with built-in options for energy levels. So morning routines. On high energy days, maybe your morning looks like exercise, journaling, and meal prep. On low energy days, your routine might shrink to just some tea, stretching, and 1 grounding breath. Both count. Both matter. Instead of a rigid checklist to create a menu of tasks, if you're energized, you can tackle vacuuming, laundry, or meal prep. If you're drained, maybe it's just putting the dishes in the sink. Either way, you're caring for your space without punishing yourself. And build in slow focus options. If your brain can't handle a big creative project, give yourself permission to do easier admin tasks or even step back for rest. When energy returns, you'll move forward faster without the crash. I like to set my weeks up where I have minimal workload on Mondays and Fridays, and I save all my heavy stuff for midweek. That way I can ease into my week and ease into my weekend. So make it, if you have control over your schedule, try to design it so that it accommodates you and your brain and your needs. It took me a while to get my schedule to where it's at, and it will continue to morph depending on my needs. But at first it was just half days on Fridays. Then it was half days on Mondays. Then it was not late night appointments. Now it's like half days on Mondays and Fridays with maybe less evening appointments. So I'm narrowing it down as I go along to fit me, to fit my needs. Not everyone has that, and I know that's a bit of a privilege, but try to do that as much as you can. And let exercise be cycle sensitive. Maybe in the follicular phase, cardio or cycling. Ovulation, you can do strength training. In luteal phase, you can do yoga or stretching. In the menstrual cycle, you can do walk or nothing, just rest. Maybe your legs up the wall. Slow living means letting your body set the pace. The key is to have tiers of routines. Tier 1 for high energy, tier 2 for medium, tier 3 for low. That way you don't fall into any all or nothing thinking. You're always showing up for yourself, but in a way that matches your energy instead of fighting it. The point of all these examples is that accommodations are not cheating. They are not lowering the bar. They are redesigning life so you can show up with without constant burnout and shame. By weaving in your hormone cycle, you add another layer of wisdom. Instead of blaming yourself for not being consistent, you can see your cycle as a rhythm. Energy rises, peaks, dips, and rests. And when you pair that rhythm with ADHD accommodations, you stop forcing yourself into a box you've never, ever been meant to fit in. So I want to say this. Needing different supports in different phases doesn't make you flaky. It makes you wise. Accommodations aren't just about being ADHD. They're also about acknowledging hormone realities, especially in perimenopause, where the body may be less predictable. Strength is not in pushing through. It's in designing life with compassion for the fluctuations you live with. So for this week, I encourage you to track your rhythm. Note where you are in your cycle, how your energy shows up. If your cycles aren't predictable, just track daily energy for now. Get a month of tracking where your energy is and what it looks like. You'll be able to see patterns. Choose one accommodation. Maybe it's ordering groceries. Maybe it's shifting one meeting to later in the week. Maybe it's asking for help. And then give yourself permission to know and to feel and to accept that you deserve systems that flow with your cycle and your brain. I deserve systems that flow with my cycle and my brain. I can create and honor systems that flow with my cycle and my brain. I can complete my task and honor my cycle and my brain. So as you move through this week, honor that your ADHD brain and your hormone cycles are not obstacles, they're realities. And when you design them with them in mind, you stop fighting yourself and start finding flow. You deserve to work with your body, not against it. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you for being brave enough to honor your neurodivergent experience instead of trying to fix it or put yourself into some sort of neurotypical male-dominated role mold. If this episode helped you feel more understood and less alone, please share it with another neurodivergent woman who might not mind me making all the messes today because I have flubbed up some words. I'd love to hear from you. Message me, comment, or follow. And just in case you don't know, I offer private sessions for virtual therapy if you're in Texas and virtual life coaching if you're outside the state or abroad. Whether you're healing trauma, navigating a big life shift, or just ready to come home to yourself, I hold space for women just like you every week. It is my life's purpose. It is my gift. It is an honor to offer safe spaces for women and to help them grow. If that's something you're curious about, you can fill out a consultation request via my Linktree, along with a Spotify playlist that's for women, that's all empowering, and more resources to guide you home. I think there's some ADHD resources there. Remember, my dears, you are never too much, you are never too late, and you don't have to figure it out all alone. Until next time, may you be happy and free. May mine and your healing ripple outward to bless this world with happiness and freedom. Take care, and I'll see you soon.